coming out there speaking about faith, family, and value, and just the love of our country, were no longer getting played on country radio. They were saying, well, we don't want to fuel that fire. I said, what do you mean? It's the country. It's the country genre. It's what they've all been saying for years. And it started getting pushed under the rug. And I always say that being a conservative or a Christian right now is like a rock star outlaw.
I know, right?
It's the new rock star outlaw. But so Chris got involved with Bass Records, and I'm gonna let him talk to you about it, tell you what's going on. So just fill him in on it.
Yeah, I want to go all the way back before I even met these guys at Bass Records and started doing this. I actually was going to do this probably 5-6 years before COVID hit. I had this idea of doing this, and I had this backer that was going to come in with this money, and we were going to do all this stuff. And about 8 months in, pulled his money out, and it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So 5-6 years go by, and go through COVID and all that. I had a buddy call me up and say, "Hey man," he didn't know anything that I'd went through before. And he said, "Hey, I'm talking to these guys about this record label that they want to start." And he goes, "I don't know why, but," he's like, "your name keeps popping in my head."
Makes sense.
Yeah. And he said, he's like, "Everything that they say that they're looking for, I think it's you." I said, "Well, I don't know. So so next thing you know, I'm coming on as partner and head of A&R for this new record label." And basically, what I told him, I said, when you have an ideology, and most people go and say, "Well, I'm gonna write a song about this," and the craft of songwriting and the production and the singing comes second, third, and fourth. You hear them all the time, the meme songs and stuff like that. They don't really. They come out about every 2 weeks, And I said, if I'm going to be part of this, it can't be that.
It's got to be authentic and
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's got to. I said, we just have to write great freaking music that just happens to say what we believe. There's a huge difference.
Fantastic difference, actually.
and so I said, but our number one thing is we got to make great music. And so we started, and we working with a guy. You guys know who Chad Prather is?
Yep.
Well, Chad, he's awesome. I just produced a EP on him. We got John Rich gonna singing with him on it. It's gonna be awesome, man. And we have this new girl, Rachel Holt, who's just turned 18. And I was writing this song. As a songwriter, there's some songs that you have to get out of you. You don't have any idea who's ever going to sing this song. You don't know how it's even going to work, but you just know you have to get it out of you. And that's what this song was for me, because I was like, nobody will ever cut this song. I knew when
not in today's world.
No.
And understandably, a lot of the artists are afraid to, even though they might have those values, are afraid to. They've got buses and trucks going down the road, and they've got a bunch of people they've hired to work with them, and they know if they say stuff that they feel that the industry is going to smack them over the head and maybe take the record deal away or the single off the charts.
And this song is basically, it's called "I Was Gonna Be," and the whole thing about it is a lot of, and it's a pro-life song, and
pro-life.
Yeah, and the thing that I wanted to do is, whatever side you're on, you always hear from one side. You never hear from the other because they don't have a voice. So
Can you do it?
Oh man, I don't know if I could do it. I don't think I could do that. It was Rachel's song, but I started writing it, and then, but go look at it. I was gonna be when I finish, you'll see where to get it. But so anyway, I was halfway writing this song, about halfway through it, and I was introduced to this young girl. She was 17 at the time, and we started talking to her. She was awesome, conservative, traditional values, and it just hit me right in the middle of it. This is her. So I played it for her, and she freaked out and said, "I'm doing that song."
Yeah.
Well,
It's pretty awesome, man. I don't know if some of you have heard it or not, but it's...
Fast forward from that moment, fast forward about almost a year later, she turned 18, we went on. Next thing you know, we're number 9 on Billboard.
Woo! With no support from radio.
No support, not one radio play.
And that's kind of why I'm here doing this little thing, just to say, raise your voices. If we don't have a First Amendment, then we're all lying to each other. If we don't have free speech, we're all lying to each other. And that's the perfect example. If we're not able to hear these things, we have nothing. We have nothing in America that we're built on. So
and all of her friends were telling her, "Don't do it." Friends back home said, "Do not do it. It's going to ruin your career." And well, she went from 279 Spotify monthly listeners to 35,000.
And at some point tonight, I want, if anybody feels brave enough to come up here, I want to ask you what you think about what you just said about she's going to ruin her career. I'd just love to hear somebody's opinion on it. I'll bring you up in a minute. Well, let me bring you up in a minute. Let's let Chris finish. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's just, and that's the thing is, people are hungry for that. People are hungry.
Are you hungry?
Something real sticks out like a sore thumb right now with some of the stuff, and I think that if we just say what we believe and we make it great, they can't ignore us.
And songwriters, if there's any songwriters out here tonight and I'm watching the show, I know we get a few that watch the show. You have to, your job as a professional observer, you have to document what you see out there and write about it. You have to write about it. You have to do it. That's your job. And love songs count too, but it's really important to document what you see as a writer, I think, and don't be afraid to tackle subjects. Don't be afraid of writing the honest truth, because people want to hear it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're not going to get you to sing it because you don't have that high.